Hey there, greetings everyone. Daniel Lowry back with another episode for you. And today we're going to be looking at a web application firewall from SafePoint. Now I know you're like, whoa, Daniel, web app firewalls. I mean, that's cybersecurity and everything, but aren't you normally like, let's hack things, let's build tools, let's hack things, let's use C2s, let's hack things even. And yes, that is true. But as one likes to do, right, we need to start upping our game. We need to learn new things. And web app firewalls are very common for protecting web applications. I mean, it's kind of in the name, right? So I was kind of scrolling through LinkedIn and I saw this one and it was free for personal use. I thought that's my favorite price. And it'll give me another tool for my home lab to be able to stand up a WAF in front of any number of the different web applications that are out there that you can use, like Juice Shop and DVWA and BWAP and all those. I thought that would be cool, right? Because now I have a third party web app firewall that's blocking, it's looking for different types of attacks. And then I can see, could I learn to work my way around them and that kind of stuff. But today we got to get the thing installed and running if we're going to do any of that learning. So working on the home lab today, and maybe this is something that interests you and you would want to do that as well. All right, so let's get to this thing. Excuse me. This is SafePoint security, right? Where security meets simplicity. We'll see. We will see. You'll notice they have a web application firewall right here, and you can hit start, and that takes us to another page, which is right here. Now, be forewarned, I'm going to fail my way through this a bit, so yay. But hopefully we all learn A, what all this stuff does and how it works, and B, how to persevere when we're getting kind of blocked by the web app firewall. I wonder if it'll be easy. I'm sure it is, right? They said it's simplistic. We'll see. We will see. All right, so let's see here. Scrolling through. All right, here's how SafeLine works. Legitimate users, search engine spiders, going into the internet. Of course, there's attackers with malicious crawlers and vulnerability scanners. And they go into the internet, they hit the web app firewall, and that gives you access to the website and the web apps. But so it's basically acting like a reverse proxy is what it looks like. Unique value proposition, simplistic by design. Okay. Like I said, I'm loving everything I see. I saw this on LinkedIn. I love everything I see here, especially this part, right? $10 a month or $100 a year for the light version, which you get all these features, which are intelligent semantic analysis detection, rule-based cyber threat protection, website identity authentication, rate limiting for HTTP flood, DDoS attack protection, malicious IP detection, web ACIs, supports, and up to 10 apps can be added. That's this, but I don't know what that means. For $10 a month or $100 a year, I can then get all that plus geo-blocking, pro threat IP, Discord and Telegram notifications. Okay, that's kind of cool. Attack logs export and up to 10 apps can be added. I'm guessing up on top of the 10 you already have. Well, that's neither here nor there right now. We're looking at this personal business. I'm going to click install. What do we do? How do we install you? All right. To set up a SafeLine instance, follow our getting started guide. Okay, I will. You're darn right I will. So here we need Linux. It runs on x86-64 and ARM64. We will need Docker version 2010-14. We also need Docker Compose 2.0.0 and 1 core CPU, 1 gigabyte of memory, and 5 gigabytes of disk space. That is, I'm going to guess that that's for the Docker container. Like that's the requirements for the Docker container, that you have 1 core CPU, 1 gig memory, and 5 gig disk. This is a Linux Lite VM that we're working in right now. It's got 4 gigabytes of memory and like 15 gigs of space on disk, as well as 2 cores. I believe I gave it. Yeah, I think that's what I did. So just kind of giving you where we're at. And I don't want you to be like, well, you're running this on something. Linux Lite. And it is, I think I had this ISO laying around. I don't remember what version it is. I guess we can find out. We can find out. cat/Etsy issue. Linux Lite 7.4 LTS. There you go. It has been updated though, but I think some updates have come out since I updated it today because I see this little update wheel. But it's pretty good. Okay. So it says you can execute the following commands to confirm server configuration. I don't know if we have Docker or Docker Compose. I guess we need to do that. So Docker version. So it looks like I have the clients. Oh, goodness. Sudo Docker version. There we go. A little bit of that. A little bit of the juju. And the version 27.5.1. Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes. It looks like we have some form of Docker installed, but we'll see. And then we'll look at, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of, again, fail my way forward. Automatic deploy recommended. Heck yeah. Why do I want to sit here and suffer if I don't have to? So it says, use the following command to start the automated installation of SafeLine. This process requires root privs. Okay, you should have thrown a sudo on the front of that then. So I'm going to copy. Let's open that terminal back up. I'm just going to full screen that. Sudo and Shift Control V. Hi. Maybe I needed to give you 8 gigs of RAM. What's up? Shift Control V. Hello. I know it's a difficult thing. Okay, I don't know if something's going on with this. Sudo is working, but my pasting seems to be a bit on the it's not going to do it. Look at that. Okay, paste selection. There we go. Whew. That was fun. Control A. And I can jump to the beginning and sudo. There we go. Bam. Fire it off. You need root privs. No problem. Giving you the password. Cool. SafeLine WAF. SafeLine is a self-hosted WAF. Yeah. We know what you are. Tells us all the cool stuff that it can do. Monitor HTTP traffic, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, code injection, OS command injection, CRLF, LDAP, XPath, RCE, XXE, SSRF, path traversal, backdoor, brute force, HTTP flood, bot abuse, among others. What do I want to do? I want to install this mother. Give you a 1. Go. Install. All right, it says checking Docker version, checking Docker Compose version. Running SafeLine WAF requires Docker Compose, but Docker Compose is not installed. Do I want to install Docker? Do I want to update my Docker version? Sure. I don't care. Do the thing. Please wait patiently. Wow, you got the wrong guy for that. I'm going to let that cook. Let's go back to the website and let's look at this manual deploy just so we can see. I would only assume that a manual deploy is just wrapped up in this shell script. That's a dangerous assumption, but whatever, right? It's a virtual machine. This is all in a sandbox environment. Let's see. Install the latest version of Docker. So we can do this to get Docker. Create SafeLine directory. We'll need to create that. Like it says, you'll need 5 gigs of disk space, but we should be good to go. Make dir p. Yeah, okay. So it's /data/SafeLine. That's the default directory. Oh, let's see here. A Docker Compose script. Download the latest Docker Compose script by following command. Okay. Write environment variables. What else? Write the following content to the .env file. Boy, I'm glad we're going with the auto deploy on this. This would be a lot of me failing. I'm going to fail enough, I'm sure. I am sure of it. And then if you want the LTS version, okay, so this is just some configuration stuff. Then once that's done, you hit the Docker Compose up-D, and then we can just go to the web UI, which is running on port 9443. All right, well, let's check back. Something happened. So that's where we left off. Docker is being installed for you. This will take a few minutes. Please wait patiently. We saw that. Docker failed. Well, of course it did. Why would it? This is Linux. This is where people don't like you. When this kind of thing happens, they long for the days of their Windows MSIs, and they're just easy installers. Anyway, the dependency nightmare that is Linux installation stuff. It can be anyway. When it goes nice, it's nice, but here we are. Anywho, synchronizing state of Docker service with this, user lib systemd, blah, 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 enable Docker. That's what it executed. Job for Docker service failed because the control process exited with error code. All right, it says right here, failed to install Docker. Please install Docker manually before installing SafeLine WAF. Okay. So it looked like it was trying to do Docker Compose, but let's go. Let's take a look here. It did give us the ability to try this. That's a compose.yaml file, but let's back this trolley up here. Okay, so let's just try to install Docker. Install Docker. Install the Docker engine. Okay. Sweetness. Do I need the Docker engine? I don't know that I do. I think we need Docker Compose. Docker Compose. Install Docker Docs. Install Docker Compose plugin. Okay. Docker Docs. Okay, that does look like installation scenarios. Overview installing Docker Compose. Perfect. We will be running Linux. And let's see here. Docker desktop terms. Oh, I don't care about that. Supported platforms. We are running under Ubuntu because Linux Lite is an Ubuntu type thing. Some system requirements, which looks like it needs GNOME terminal. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see here. Set up the Docker repository. See step 1 of install using the apt repository. Heck yeah. Let's just add the repository. Let's do that. Yes, that looks right. Go away with your stupid cookie thing. All right. Dare I copy something? I'm going to Control C. And then probably need a sudo. Control V. Yes. Paste. Paste it in. Go. All right. That seems to have worked pretty well. We got a little bit more to go. Add the repository to app sources. Copy that. And Shift Control V. Paste. Go. Okay. We might be a little bit farther down the road. All right, let's go grab that install script again. Where are you? Here? No, you are here. Grab the install script. Copy you. A lot of copy. It is a fun thing to say. All right, sudo that and then Shift Control V. Fire it off. Right, we want to install. And okay. Is now telling me that the remaining memory is less than 1 gigabyte. The environment not have, okay, well, what's going on here? Is it mem? I cannot remember what the command is to check for memory. How to see amount of memory Linux. Free. That's what it is. Free-H. Free-H. It says that I have used 1.1 gig and I have 2 gig. I thought I gave this thing 4 gigs. Well, you monkey. Okay, well, that means I gotta shut this thing down and give it some more juice under the hood. All right, well, let's do it. Let's exit out of here. Let's do, I can just close all this. And then we will log out. Log out. And then let's jump over to the virtual machine. And from here, we will shut it down because you got to shut things down to give it more RAM. I could have swore I gave it 4 gigs, but I guess I didn't. System. There it is. Black and white. 4096. Okay. Okay, there we go. Fire it back up. Rock and roll. Looks all good. Everything's working. Cool. All right, so now let's try it again. Too far. No, not too far. That's where I'm supposed to be. Bing. Connect. Why is it showing me my SafePoint WAF? Hello. This is where I want to be. I want to click this. Thank you very much. Oh, computers, you are fun. Yes. And then, of course, it jumped to the wrong screen. Again, computers. They just do not love us. You know what? Feelings mutual. SafePoint, I think, is the username that I gave it. And then password. There we go. Logging in. Bada bing. Excuse me. All right. Now that we have, and we will check, right? Free-H. Yes. Total. 3.8 gigs. Only using that much. Perfection. So bring up my session again here. Go to what's history, I believe. And then recent tab, 5 tabs, restore window. Thank you. Thank you, Chrome, for being so nice to us. Yeah, I don't need you. I need the terminal. Blow it up. Now let's try running that installer one more time. We get that here, I believe. Copy. And terminal. Sudo. Shift Control V. Or we'll try the whole edit paste selection thing. That seems to work pretty well. Firing it off. We're going to one more again. And this is how you install. If you ever wonder, how does Daniel do all this stuff in his home lab? This is what it looks like 95% of the time. Okay. But things are actually kind of going our way at this point, right? Docker version is good. Checking Docker Compose. Installation environment, check passed. Yeah, we win. Kiss it. See, I mean, yay. Let's see here. So, right, the default path was data SafeLine. We saw that in the manual. So, yep, we're going with that. Initializing mount directories. Mount directories initialized. Completing. Oh, this looks like we're getting somewhere. I was going to move away, but no. Let's watch the magic. Watch the magic. Everything is happening. So, this is a good sign. Once all these are green check marks, I'm assuming that means good things are happening. We're waiting for management healthy, starting Docker containers. Okay, SafeLine WAF installation is completed. Yay! Heavens have opened and angels have descended holding one long note. And the sun has shone around us to say, you have done the right thing. And now we're just kind of waiting for this management healthy. Okay. We hope the management gets healthy really quick. Get well soon, management. I assume that's what MGT means. Set up admin. Okay. Initial username is admin. Initial password. Cool. We're going to need that most likely. And then it says right here, admin panel. Or you can go to 0000, blah, blah, blah. Cool. You know what? I think we might be rocking and rolling. We might have this thing installed. Okay. All right then. Well, let's give it a whirl. So it's on 192.168.56.103, I think it said, on port 9443. Your connection is not private. So there's some TLS stuff going on here, or SSL. Yep, proceed. I don't care. It's unsafe, but I don't care. Software license agreement. YOLO. Username. There's where them creds come in. Admin, and the password. The password is gobbledygook. Copy. For all of you that get that reference, God bless you. Paste. Login. Whoa! We have liftoff, kids. Okay, so we made it through step 1, and it's looking good. I like what I see. For a second there, I thought I hadn't been recording this and I was going to lose my mind. But now we got to get it configured, right? Because that's getting it installed is always just half the battle. The other half is red lasers and blue lasers. So now we got to actually like get this thing to work. So let's jump back over here. We're probably in, okay, we did deploy. So we're probably going to be here at add application. All right. First of all, make sure you have successfully installed SafeLine. Oh, we've made sure of that. Yes. How SafeLine works. It's a web app firewall developed by, based on Nginx. Makes sense. Reverse proxy, Nginx. Designed to help web applications defend against network attacks. Its principle is to act as an HTTP/HTTPS reverse proxy, receive network traffic for the original website, then clean the malicious traffic and forward the safe and reliable traffic to the original application. And then there's our little chart we saw before, our infographic. Proxy and application in SafeLine. So log in, which we've done, go to applications on the applications, and then applications again on that page, and click add application button on the upper right-hand corner. Then we should get a dialog box. Enter the information into the original app. So we're going to have to fill out a domain. We're going to need a port. We're going to need upstream. Real address. So upstream is the real address. Oh, you probably can't see that, but sorry about that. Real address of your original app through which SafeLine will forward traffic to it. Gotcha. Reverse proxy. Okay. So after completing the above steps, please resolve the domain name that you just entered to the IP address where SafeLine is located. And here's another little infographic. So we have a browser. We have their example.com is on IP 6.6.6.6, right? But now, right? New, okay. Gotcha. So instead of, so this is our website here, right? So this is our web app. It's on IP 5.5.5.5. And we'll call it like target app, right? Or whatever. So when we go to targetapp.com, it goes to 5.5.5.5. But we're going to set up a reverse proxy that says that targetapp.com is actually 6.6.6.6. So when the browser goes to targetapp.com or I guess local or whatever you want to do, since it's in a lab, then it will reverse proxy those requests into the website. If they're clean. If they're not clean, it's going to do some stuff. And it says try to attack your application. Cool. All right. Let's give it a whirligig. Okay, so we got to go to applications. So SafeLine, we got applications right around here. Click on that. And then we have add application, which is a little, there we go. I know it's a little tiny as far as fonts go, but I'll try to help you see where we're at. So add application. And then here it says really small, it says domain. So this is where we need to come up with domain. Like I said, I want to call it like targetapp.local, right? And then it says it needs a listening port. And we can add listening ports. If you want to do SSL, you can. Or you can garbage these. I'm not going to be listening on 443, so I'm just going to garbage that and go with port 80. So anything that comes from target app or a browser that browses to targetapp.local on port 80 should get the reverse proxy, which you can see that that is checked right there. We also have static files and redirects. So other stuff to play with for another day. Obviously, we just want to get the standard thing working here. This is the upstream area. It says really tinily right there, upstream. I mean, I guess I could, yeah, there you go. Daniel outthinking the problem, right? So there it is, upstream. So this is going to be, right, it told us that that is the real IP address of your original app. All right, the real IP address of my original app. So I assume it wants HTTP there. So http://192.168.1.10. I wrote it down. What is it? 104. 104. Okay. And then we give it an application name. We'll just call it target app and submit. Okay. I did see, no, that's huge. Yeah, see, we got to scroll back out. Now, I'm going to go back and hit this details button. It looks like everything's fine. I think we're good to go. So this is where if we need to edit it or do other things, I think this is where we go. We have HTTP flood enabled, bot protect, authentication enabled, and then attacks. Let's click on attacks. It looks like it's using a global attacks, but you can hit customize. And then you've got a bunch of different capabilities. So like SQL injection, you can disable that. You can just put it in audit mode, which I guess would still allow the attack, but will log it. And if you set up alerts, I would assume it also does alerts. Balanced mode and then strict mode. We'll just leave it right now. I'll just save that and leave it in customize. It doesn't like this upstream though. Oh yeah, because it wasn't 1, it's 56. So we need to go in and edit. Yes, 56. And then submits. There we go. It's now not angry. Now, I will probably need to add that to my Etsy hosts file. So I will sudo nano Etsy hosts, and we will add, hello. No. Jeez. Control X, yeah, whatever. Thank you. I love when I fat finger and nano or Vim, and you're like, what am I doing? How do I get out of this? Let's see here. So this will be 192.168.104. Yeah, 4. And that is going to be target app.local. Cool. Control S, Control X. So now if I ping target app.local, it does work. Cool. And if I go to, actually, I think this might be working. I think we might be set up, right? Because we've got everything we need. It's all connected. I just need to, right? I think that's what's up. Okay, so let's go to our attack machine. Let's go to the attack machine. Now, it doesn't have any, this Kali, everybody's favorite thing in the world, right? We'll need to put an Etsy hosts file there, but we'll need to give it the web application firewall because that's the new DNS record. It's telling you, if you want to go there, you got to go here first. So sudo nano Etsy hosts. And there we go. Okay, so now 192.168.56.103 is going to be target app.local. Control S, Control X. All right. With that said, can I ping target app.local, just make sure everything's working. It does give me the right thing. Let's open a web browser and go to targetapp.local, targetapp.local. Booyah, Metasploitable 2, just like what we should see. Let's go to DVWA. If you're like, why is DVWA green? It's because I have a dark reader plugin installed, which I'm going to leave on because it's a very bright page. Username of admin, I think password, admin and password. Yeah. Let's change the DVWA security to low just so we can submit things. So let's go to a SQL injection because that was the top of the list. User ID 1, submits, everything works. 2, submits, everything works. But if I do or 1 equals 1, good old fashioned run-of-the-mill SQL injection, booyah! Access forbidden. Powered by SafeLine WAF. Cool. Yeah, dog. And now let's jump back over here because that must mean we've got logs now, right? Because it did the thing. Awesome. Okay, attacks. I assume that's where we're going. Attacks, events, logs. There it is. Blocked. Bam. I almost went Kendrick Lamar on us there. That's right. I know who he is. All right, let's see here. Detail. Booyah. SQL injection shows you the injection, that it was denied, the IP address that tried it, the URL path, the module was SQL injection, when it happened, the ID for the attack, and there's the request. This is actually kind of cool. This looks really nice, by the way. Copy as a curl. Oh, this is sweet. So there's the request. And of course, we got a response, which was none. That is money. I like. Well, awesome. Guess what? We have a web application firewall. And now I can just stand that in front of Metasploitable 2 and see, now can I try some web application firewall bypass techniques and get that to work? Or maybe take the technique, modify it, distort it, mutate it just a little bit, and maybe that would get it by? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how good this thing is. How does it work? That's kind of the point, right? Is to have something that is standing in the way, because in real life land, if you were trying to maybe do bug bounties or web app pen testing or something like that, you're probably going to encounter a WAF. And not only that, but it had all sorts of other stuff, right? Like it has this allow and deny. Looks like, what can we do here? I'm just scrolling through. I'm trying to hit like I have. It's such a widespread page. I'm in a low resolution, but there you go. This is pretty cool. So I can mess with this. Okay, custom rules, events. So that's interesting. If I hit custom rules, what does that do? Allow rules and deny rules. Makes sense. HTTP flood detection or prevention, rate limiting, waiting room. So if someone was running a scan, maybe we don't block them necessarily, but we rate limit them really, really hard. And definitely against like denial of service attacks. There you go. Ever wanted to have some fun with some denial of service attacks? Well, guess what? Spin up a VM and create a denial of service attack using one of the many tools that are out there that allow you to do that kind of thing. And then stand up SafePoint right here in front of it, or I'm sorry, SafeLine, and see how it works. See if it stops it. Have another user try to connect to it while you're running that denial of service. I've definitely played around with denial of service before as well. And it's actually pretty cool to see even a VM start to crawl to a halt and stop moving completely. Very cool stuff. Well, SafeLine WAF, I am impressed, even though I wanted to keep calling you SafePoint for some strange reason. I think that's like a glass company or something. I don't know, or some kind of home security system. But this is the same kind of thing, right? A security system, but for our web apps. And now we can build out our home labs even more robustly to have a more realistic kind of environment for protecting web applications and us trying to learn how to get around them. That said, hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully, you were as successful as I was at getting it installed and up and running. I'm sure that there are going to be some edge cases where people are like, "Hey, it didn't work for me for X, Y, and Z reasons." Using something different, it's a one size fits one case here just for me. But hopefully, this helps you at least understand how to get it installed and what it should look like, and what you need to be putting into those input boxes and the things you need to be running and installing, and then getting logged in, and then seeing what it looks like when it blocks something and getting connected to actually being a WAF in front of your web app. Very cool. Thank you for joining me today. If you got some value out of today's episode, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe, share with your friends, leave us a comment, do the whole 9 yards, do all those things. Join me on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern for Cybercast IRL. It's a live stream that we do. We answer and we talk about cybersecurity stuff. You got questions? Ask me a question. Maybe I got an answer for you. You want to let me know about something cool that I could do a video on? Jump into the chat. We got a really great community. Love to see you there. That said, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, keep hacking.